I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you, and learn from me, for I am gentle and lowly in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy, and my burden is light. For to the one who pleases him, Elohim has given wisdom and knowledge and joy. But to the sinner he has given the business of gathering and collecting, only to give to the one who pleases Elohim.
Shalom, family, and welcome to this moment that Yah has given us for His purpose. We're here only because ABBA YAH has sustained us to do His will. So we say hallelujah. We have another straight talk today because so many of the sheep are getting scattered by the things going on in the political world and have become unfocused. The chief shepherd will leave the 99 and go after his one lost sheep.
What man of you having 100 sheep, if he lose one of them, doth not leave the 99 in the wilderness, and go after that which is lost, until he find it? And when he hath found it, he layeth it on his shoulders, rejoicing. And when he cometh home, he calleth together his friends and neighbors, saying unto them, Rejoice with me, for I have found my sheep which was lost.
So, this straight talk is to get the attention of the one that is lost, and to strengthen the other 99 in the flock. Now, as we walk in this path with Yah, let's jump right into Tehillim. Psalms 91.
He who dwells in the secret place of the Most High, who abides under the shadow of the Almighty. He is saying of Yahweh, my refuge and my stronghold, my Elohah, in whom I trust. For he delivers you from the snare of a trapper, from the destructive pestilence. He covers you with his feathers, and under his wings you take refuge. His truth is a shield and armor. You are not afraid of the dread by night, of the arrow that flies by day, of the pestilence that walks in darkness, of destruction that ravages at midday. 1,000 fall at your side, and 10,000 at your right hand, but it does not come near you. Only with your eyes you look on and see the reward of the wrong ones, because you have made Yahweh, my refuge, the Most High, your dwelling place. No evil befalls you, and a plague does not come near your tent. For he commands his messengers concerning you to guard you in all your ways. They bear you up in their hands, lest you dash your foot against a stone. You tread upon lion and cobra, young lion and serpent you trample underfoot.
Because he cleaves to me in love, therefore I deliver him. I set him on high, because he has known my name. When he calls on me, I answer him. I am with him in distress. I deliver him and esteem him. With long life I satisfy him and show him my deliverance.
Let's examine verses 5 and 6.
You are not afraid of the dread by night, of the arrow that flies by day, of the pestilence that walks in darkness, of destruction that ravages at midday.
You are not afraid of the dread by night, of the arrow that flies by day, of the pestilence that walks in darkness, of destruction that ravages at midday. Most of us know or have heard of the tragic story of David and Bathsheba that is found in the book of 2 Samuel.
King David and Bathsheba's story is one of the most famous and controversial episodes in the Bible. David, the great king of Israel, saw Bathsheba, the wife of Uriah the Hittite, bathing on her rooftop. He was captivated by her beauty and lusted after her. David, despite being married and Bathsheba being married to Uriah, summoned her to his palace, and they committed adultery. Bathsheba became pregnant, and to conceal their sin, David tried to get Uriah to sleep with his wife, but Uriah, a loyal soldier, refused to enjoy his marital privileges while his comrades were in the field. Faced with Uriah's unwavering loyalty, David resorted to a more sinister plan. He ordered Uriah to be placed in a dangerous battle, where he was killed. After Uriah's death, David married Bathsheba, and she gave birth to a son. But God was displeased with David's actions. The prophet Nathan confronted David, revealing God's anger and pronouncing judgment. Although David repented sincerely, God still punished him, and the child Bathsheba bore died. Despite this dark chapter, David and Bathsheba went on to have another son, Solomon, who would become one of Israel's greatest kings. Their story serves as a cautionary tale about the consequences of sin and the importance of repentance in biblical narratives.
David, the king, commits adultery with Bathsheba, the wife of Uriah, and later he has Uriah killed. David did not foresee the dread by night that would come upon his family.
Absalom was the third son of King David, known for his extraordinary beauty and charm. From the sole of his foot to the crown of his head, the Bible says, there was no blemish in him. Despite his outward perfection, Absalom's life was marked by turmoil and tragedy. The story begins with a horrific act within David's household. Amnon, David's eldest son and heir to the throne, became infatuated with his half-sister Tamar, Absalom's full sister. Amnon deceived Tamar, lured her into his chamber, and assaulted her. Tamar was left humiliated and desolate. Absalom, enraged by the crime, took his devastated sister into his home and waited for his father, King David, to take action. But David, though angry, did nothing to punish Amnon. For 2 years, Absalom's fury simmered in silence. Then he plotted revenge. Under the guise of hosting a feast, Absalom invited Amnon and the rest of David's sons. During the festivities, Absalom gave the signal and his servants killed Amnon. The murder sent shockwaves through the royal family. Fearing David's wrath, Absalom fled to his maternal grandfather's kingdom in Geshur, where he remained in exile for 3 years. David mourned both the loss of Amnon and the estrangement of Absalom. Eventually, through the intervention of Joab, David's military commander, Absalom was allowed to return to Jerusalem. However, David refused to see him, leaving their relationship fractured and tense for another 2 years. When Absalom finally forced an audience with his father by burning Joab's fields, the two were seemingly reconciled, but the rift between them remained. Absalom, dissatisfied with his position and hungry for power, began to conspire against his father. Using his charm and political cunning, he positioned himself at the city gate, where he would listen to the grievances of the people and promise them justice. Over time, he stole the hearts of the men of Israel. When his support was strong enough, Absalom declared himself king in Hebron and launched a rebellion against David. Hearing of his son's uprising, David was heartbroken but acted quickly. He fled Jerusalem with his loyal followers to avoid bloodshed in the city, leaving Absalom to seize the throne. David's retreat was filled with anguish, humiliation, and the sting of betrayal. Absalom entered Jerusalem as the new king and committed acts that further alienated him from his father, including publicly taking David's concubines, a symbolic act meant to assert his dominance. Meanwhile, David regrouped and planned his counterattack. The two sides met in a decisive battle in the forest of Ephraim. Though Absalom's forces were numerous, David's seasoned troops prevailed. During the battle, Absalom's fate was sealed in a bizarre and tragic way. As he fled on his mule, his long, thick hair, once a symbol of his beauty and pride, became entangled in the branches of a great oak tree. Suspended and helpless, Absalom was discovered by Joab, who disregarded David's command to deal gently with him. Joab and his men killed Absalom as he hung defenseless. When news of Absalom's death reached David, the king was inconsolable. His grief poured out in one of the most heartrending cries in the Bible. "Oh, my son Absalom, my son Absalom, would I had died instead of you, O Absalom, my son, my son." Despite his rebellion and betrayal, David's love for Absalom endured to the very end. The story of Absalom serves as a sobering reminder of the consequences of unchecked ambition, familial discord, and the deep complexities of parental love. It's a tale as much about human weakness as it is about enduring love and heartbreak.
As a consequence, there was the death of his son with Bathsheba, the rape of his daughter Tamar, the murder of his son and heir Amnon, the betrayal and death of his son Absalom. As David was looking upon Bathsheba by day, that which he could see, there was a dread and a pestilence that awaited him by night, that which he couldn't see. In 1 Kings chapter 13, a man of Eloah went from Yehudah to Bethel by the word of Yahweh. He was told, "Do not eat bread nor drink water nor return by the same way you came." Well, a certain old prophet was dwelling in Bethel, and he said to him, "Come home with me and eat bread." The man of Yah said, "I'm not able to return with you, or to go in with you, nor am I to eat bread or drink water with you in this place." The old prophet said to him, "I too am a prophet like you, and a messenger spoke to me by the word of Yahweh, saying, 'Bring him back with you to your house, and let him eat bread and drink water.' But the prophet lied to him. Not being able to see the dread by night and the pestilence in darkness, the man of Yah turned back with him and ate bread in his house and drank water. This sin, this disobedience, caused the man of Yah to be killed by a lion. He should have thought about Psalms 91, verse 13, which says,
You tread upon lion and cobra, young lion and serpent you trample underfoot.
This doesn't mean we will physically walk and trample on lions and cobras, but that Yah will guide us around the troubles in life that will harm us or even kill us. Then there is also a story about a man that did not see the arrow that flies by day when it was right in front of him until his eyes were opened. As we watch this short clip, let's think of how this story relates to us.
And ABBA YAH came to Balaam at night and said to him,
If the men come to call you, rise and go with them, but only the word which I speak to you, that you do.
And Balaam rose in the morning and saddled his donkey, and went with the heads of Moab. But the displeasure of ABBA YAH burned because he went, and the messenger of Yah stationed himself in the way as an adversary against him. And he was riding on his donkey, and his 2 servants were with him. And the donkey saw the messenger of Yah standing in the way with his drawn sword in his hand. And the donkey turned aside out of the way and went into the field. So Balaam beat the donkey to turn her back onto the way. Then the messenger of Yah stood in a narrow passage between the vineyards, with a wall on this side and a wall on that side. And when the donkey saw the messenger of Yah, she pushed herself against the wall and crushed Balaam's foot against the wall. So he beat her again.
You broke my foot, you donkey!
And the messenger of Yah went further. And this time he stood in a narrow place where there was no way to turn aside, left or right. And when the donkey saw the messenger of Yah, she lay down under Balaam. So Balaam's displeasure burned, and he beat the donkey with his staff.
You don't listen, you donkey!
Then Yah opened the mouth of the donkey, and she said to Balaam,
What have I done to you that you have beaten me these 3 times?
Because you have mocked me. I wish there were a sword in my hand, for I would have killed you by now.
And the donkey said to Balaam,
Am I not your donkey on which you have ridden? Ever since I became yours to this day, was I ever known to do so to you?
And he said,
No!
Then Yah opened Balaam's eyes, and he saw the messenger of Yah standing in the way with his drawn sword in his hand. And he bowed his head and fell on his face. And the messenger of Yah said to him,
Why have you beaten your donkey these 3 times? See, I have come out to stand against you, because your way is reckless before me. And the donkey saw me and turned aside from me these 3 times. If she had not turned aside from me, I certainly would have killed you by now, and let her live.
And Balaam said to the messenger of Yah,
I have sinned, for I did not know you stood in the way against me. And now, if evil is in your eyes, let me turn back.
This brings us to what this straight talk is about today. Since the inauguration of 2025, many of the people who voted for the current person in office went into a deep panic. They're looking like sheep that have gotten scattered by wild animals and have been running into some strange pastures. The problem is that many of Yah's chosen sheep have decided to panic as well, and they've also begun to follow the sheep of the world into these strange pastures. Some of the chosen have even begun to follow the flea doctrine and have gone to Africa, thinking they can outrun the chief shepherd. Yah said He will gather his sheep. He did not tell his sheep to run on their own. The first time in the office, 8 years ago, we saw the arrow that flew by day and the destruction that ravaged at midday. But people turned a blind eye. During this election of 2024, those that did not hear and obey the Chief Shepherd did not foresee the dread by night.
It is now clear that we've achieved the most incredible political thing. Look what happened. Is this crazy?
Nor did they see the pestilence that walked in darkness.
Welcome to the News Hour. President Trump announced this afternoon that Elon Musk will need to consult with cabinet secretaries before firing more federal workers.
So we're going to be watching them, and Elon and the group are going to be watching them. And if they can cut, it's better. And if they don't cut, then Elon will do the cutting.
Yah brought us out of that burning house 4 years ago. But some wanted to walk back into it, not knowing that the flames get much bigger over time. Let's take a moment to think back to our forefather David when he saw the beauty of Bathsheba. He did not see the dread by night that would come upon his family. Let's think back to the prophet who chose not to listen to the command of ABBA YAH, our chief shepherd. He did not see the pestilence that walks in darkness. Let's also think back to Balaam, that was about to lose his life because he was blind spiritually and did not see the messenger ahead of him. Yah left these past events in the scriptures for us to be able to see ourselves today. Some of us, just as David did, have looked towards some things that looked good and caused us to walk away from the chief shepherd. Some of us have even started to listen to false prophets, which will cause us to walk down a road that has a hungry lion at the end of it. There are also some that are blind spiritually and do not see the dangers ahead and are walking towards the messenger of death. Just as the Pharaoh of today is putting out messages to activate his people to turn against the chosen sheep, we are also putting out messages to tell the sheep to turn toward the chief shepherd, ABBA YAH. This is only where our true help will come from. 2 Chronicles chapter 7 and verse 14 tells us, "And my people, upon whom my name is called, shall humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their evil ways. Then I shall hear from the heavens and forgive their sin and heal their land." Now, to those that have made it here today, hopefully we have gotten a better understanding of the dread by night that is waiting if we are not spiritually awakened. We are not to look towards a different shepherd just because it looks good and sounds good. Neither are we to run into another pasture just because fear is pushed out to scare the sheep. Our gaze is to remain on the chief shepherd only and to be obedient to all of his commands. Check out the helpful links below in the description box. feel free to leave a positive comment to encourage the chosen sheep. Remember to like, subscribe, and share this video. So the next time the evildoers in high places put out coded messages to scatter and destroy the chosen sheep, just remember that Yah says,
Listen to me, O house of Jacob, all the remnant of the house of Israel, who have been born by me from before your birth, carried from the womb, even to your old age I am he, and to gray hairs I will carry you. I have made and I will bear. I will carry and will save. But now hear, O Jacob my servant, Israel whom I have chosen. Thus says Yah, who made you, who formed you from the womb and will help you. Fear not, O Jacob my servant, Jeshurun, whom I have chosen.
Shalom, and stay strong.